Welcome to the fourth and final episode in a Legendarium series about the life of William the Conqueror before 1066. In this installment, we will talk about Duke William's wars against Maine and Brittany before he set his sights upon the big prize. After Duke William's crushing victory over King Henry of France in 1057, the Duke became uncontested ruler of Normandy. His position only became stronger when his old enemies, Henry of France and Geoffrey Martel, both died in 1060, making it very hard for them to cause William further trouble. Both men would be followed by weaker rulers, a situation that Duke William happily took advantage of. Count Herbert II of Maine died in 1062 without a male heir. Duke William had betrothed his eldest son Robert to Herbert's sister Margaret, and so claimed the county through his son. Local nobles resisted William's claim, but William pressed his so-called rights by force of arms, and by 1064 he had secured the loyalty, or deaths, of all the Maine nobles. To secure his control, he appointed a Norman to the bishopric of Le Mans, foreshadowing the means by which he would also control England. By conquering Maine, William had secured his southern border. Being more interested in consolidation than war at this point, he even made peace with the new Count of Anjou, Geoffrey the Bearded. However, his western border became endangered by Duke Conan II, who hoped to expand into Normandy. Duke William invaded Brittany, his troops looting and pillaging as they went. Duke Conan II himself died in 1066, leaving William's western border safe. During his campaign, William secured the loyalty of some Breton nobles, who would later join him in the invasion of England. In a historical irony, the Bretons descended from Romanized Britons who had fled the island during the Anglo-Saxon invasion 5 centuries before. During the Hastings campaign, the Bretons would make up the left flank of Duke William's army, and many Breton knights would then become lords of the English. Meanwhile, events unfolded in England. In 1052, Earl Godwin returned from exile, joined by his armed retinue. He made an agreement with King Edward the Confessor and regained his family's lands and titles. During this time, Duke William supposedly traveled to England with an embassy, though it remains unconfirmed. King Edward and Duke William were distant relations, as Edward's mother, Emma of Normandy, was also William's great aunt, and Edward lived in Normandy for more than 20 years after the death of his father, Ethelred the Unready. Edward drew heavily on his former hosts for support, bringing in Norman courtiers and clerics, and then appointing them to positions of power, often in the church. This created much resentment among the English lords. Curiously, the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle refers to William not as Duke of Normandy, but Count. More importantly, during this embassy, William claimed that the childless King Edward named him heir to the throne. Of course, there is no way to know this for certain, but Duke William spent the next decade confident that he would soon become King William I of England. Along with visiting England, William hosted a number of English notables at his court in Normandy. Harold Godwinson, the son and heir to Earl Godwin, spent at least some time in Caen during the conquest of Maine. Harold may have even served under Duke William during some of his campaigns in northern France. During this stay, Duke William supposedly extracted an oath from Harold that he would support William's claim to the throne whenever Edward the Confessor died. Again, it is not known for certain what happened. Norman propaganda portrayed Duke William as asking for a simple pledge from Earl Harold with his hand upon a shelf. Earl Harold obliged, and then Duke William, in a stage magician's trick, yanked a cloth cover from the table, revealing a collection of holy relics that Harold just swore a solemn oath upon. It was the sort of trick that his Norse ancestors would have admired if it happened. When King Edward the Confessor died in January 1066, the lack of a clear heir led to a disputed succession. Edward's immediate successor was the Earl Harold Godwinson of Wessex, the richest and most powerful English aristocrat. The Witenagemot elected Harold King of England, and the Archbishop of York, Eldred, crowned him. This put Duke William in a difficult position, as he spent the last decade boasting that he would soon become King of England. Now he looked ridiculous, and no despot can look ridiculous. So he resolved to press his supposed claim to the throne by force of arms. To convince Norman, Breton, and Angevin lords, many of whom fought against him at some point, to join his English expedition, Duke William promised them glory and riches when he divided the great English pie among them. In this endeavor, he had much aid from his wife, Matilda of Flanders, who negotiated with Norman magnates and arranged strategic marriages among William's many half-siblings and children to secure enough support. And so Duke William prepared his fleet of Norse-style longships for the fateful voyage to England. That wraps things up for this episode of The Legendarium. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, press like. If you want to see more, press subscribe. And if you've got anything to say, let me know in the comments section. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day.